Hello, everyone. It is Monday the 13th. Yes, and I believe it's full moon as well. All the crazies and loonies are out there. My cat started meowing at 2 at night. My dog had to go for a walk at 3 at night. We got back at 4. I had to get up at 5 because I had an interview at 5:30. So very little sleep for me. It is crazy out there. How are we doing? Are we still on target for most cryptos? Check yes. But Bitcoin and Ethereum require downside adjustments and therewith also a big picture Elliott Wave Count review. The downside targets need review, not the upside targets. Those remain, in my humble opinion, in line. So let's start with this one. This is the Elliott Wave Count from, I would say, Credible Crypto. He is on Twitter. He originally had a major 4 and then a major 5 to complete cycle 3. Given the price action today, I think we need to consider that we have completed cycle 3, which was my original count from a long time ago. So then we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, and that is 5 completed in November last year. Okay, and now in cycle 4. So we're going to review these numbers. It still means we can go to 150,000 for Bitcoin, believe it or not. Ethereum to 15,000 as well. If anything, there might be fantastic buying opportunities along the way. I'll have to show a tweet as well. So give me a minute. I don't think I have it up as well. That matches that as well. So let's have a look. But first, we're going to go on alphabetical order. So this is what I mean always with Elliott Wave: anticipate, monitor, adjust. Okay, always be prepared. That's why we always have stops in place, take profits, because things constantly morph and change. But nothing out of the ordinary for Avalanche. This is Avalanche, AVAX. The ideal downside target was $10 to $5. We're at 15. It's getting there quite nicely. I see no concern here. This can go to even below a little bit of $5 for a nice CSA target. Again, then we have done with the entire rally since July last year and all the way since December 2020. We need to get rid of all this excess. Then this impulse of this cycle top has completed. Fantastic. So this is tracking along beautifully. Looks like a nice impulse lower. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. I like it. I see no reason to change my tune on Avalanche. Nicely on track, not just there yet. How are we doing on Binance Coin? I've cleaned up the chart a little bit just to point out that we had this bullish cutoff level here at 340. And we had the bearish cutoff at 340. That was the green arrow. Then we had the bullish cutoff here at about 280, 290. I said if we break below that, we're going to go here to the 200s. And this is where we are already. Look at that. We've retested the May lows. I don't think Binance Coin is done to the downside yet. Here is the revised, updated, additional, added, whatever you want to call it, Elliott Wave Count, since we had this nice little rally here in May. That was the wave 4. For those that remember Friday's charts and the charts I've showed you before, I had A question mark, B question mark, 4 question mark 3 here because wave 4 could have already bottomed. There were technically enough little scribbles in place. And that's what the problem with little scribbles. You can always misinterpret the little scribbles. All right. So we have now 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, because we know that was really fast. After 3 comes 4 and after 4 comes 5. So I don't think the downside is yet completed. Are we going to go as low as 140, 120? It's possible. I pretty much just put it in here to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. This is simply working with the price data available. As usual with Elliott Wave, you get crisp, clear if-then scenarios. So if you decided to, for example, go long here, tiny little position, of course, I continuously point that out. You got to test the waters if you so desire, and that's about it. Then you had the bullish cutoff here. This is where you get out. This is where you get stopped out. You take the loss, you move on. Anybody who does not take losses on their books or says they only have winning trades or only wants winning trades is A, an idiot, B, full of shit, and 3, destined to lose everything. All right, I've got to say it loud and clear. So again, this took still very nice, a nice final impulse lower. The bulls failed to break things out. All right, that brings me to Bitcoin. How are we doing on Bitcoin? This is the simple trend is your friend chart. Anybody can make this chart. You just use a bunch of simple moving averages. You look at where the price is in relation to these moving averages and how these moving averages are in relationship to each other. Add a couple other things to it, and you have a great chart that will tell you if you should buy or if you should sell, if you should buy the dip or if you should sell the rip. Sell the rip is do you in a bear market. Buy the dip, you do in a bull market. Clearly a bear market, and now all these high risk, low risk, medium risk levels that I've had on the charts, though not shared with you for a while, are of course lowered. This again lowers the threshold eventually for a nice long position. But as you can see, we have now reached the ideal downside target I had in mind based on a standard Fibonacci-based impulse pattern to the downside, because this is the 5-1 relationship. I've had this on the chart, the 23,000 plus or minus 1,000 for quite a while. We reached it, not too bad. Elliott Wave was right. Remember, I had this level here, which was about 28,000. I said below here, 28,000 triggers the gray impulse wave count to the downside. Now, normally, ideally, standardly, textbookly, all those good stuff. The wave 3 bottoms here, the wave 4 rallies here, the wave 5 bottoms here. All right, those are the normal third, fourth, and fifth wave target zones. That's all we can go by. Nobody knows if anything extends or does the opposite, gets shorter than what one should anticipate. We don't know, so that's what we go by. Well, clearly on, I would say Sunday evening, we bottomed here. So the market had the chance to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup. It did not, okay? We're working on an extension. So if we're working on an extension, we have to revise our downside targets. I'll show you them in a minute. So we have this wave 4. Remember, I had, of course, the bullish breakout level, saying that would invalidate the bear level at around 32,500. We never broke above it. Okay, so anybody who wanted to test the waters for a potential high risk, high reward trade, but remember the high risk, there's never no risk, got stopped out quite early. And again, you should not put your entire life savings in this type of price action. Never in the first place. So this is where you kind of test the waters, use tight stops. And if you get stopped out to get a little loss, it's fine. All right. Be a man and it will turn you into a great trader. That's just the way it is. Bear markets, he or she who loses the least amount of money is the winner. Except for my trading alert service, we're banking on shorting the cryptos like there's no tomorrow. But that's an objective system. Regardless, we should now be in micro 3, micro 4, minute 3, minute 4, minute 5. Okay, now it's a question, how low can we go? So now that the target zone has already reached, but not the wave count has been fully completed, we have to look lower. So we anticipate this reached, then we monitor, is the price action complete? No, it does not look complete, then we adjust accordingly. So here is the bigger picture. I am back in the camp that we've completed cycle 3, okay? So credible crypto, stop it, not interested. It's still now the alternative count. But after cycle 3 comes cycle 4, and after cycle 4 comes cycle 5. I'm still missing a cycle 5 wave, all right? Unless this completely breaks apart, then I'll change my tune. So why did I, for example, originally were looking for about this downside target, right? A little bit lower here at around 25,000. That was a nice C equals 0.618 relationship to about C is 0.764 type relationship for A. Often C waves, like we saw here in this primary 4 wave in 2018, truncate, meaning they do not go to the full extension of C's A. Happens quite a lot. We had it here as well. We had it here as well. I've seen it many, many times. So that's why you start off with, that looks pretty good on the big picture, and it fits with the larger picture, right? So we had here about 24,900, matches quite nicely with 25,900. That's why you say plus or minus 1,000. On this bigger picture, you got to give yourself some leeway and a target zone and see if those levels hold. Now the CSA relationship targets 12,000. Oops, whoops, I hear everybody, panic, chicken littles, all that stuff, all right? Remember, this could then lead to 1,000% gain. The previous gain was 2,000%. Okay, the gain before that was 4,000% based on halving cycles. So Can we reach 12,000? Yes, we can if this continues to subdivide lower. That would mean another 50% haircut. That would be quite something. We'll have to see. It is possible. That will bring us back to very stiff support. Okay, I'm just pointing this out that we are now in this ideal target zone, and why I had the upper targets, as those levels were also very nice support levels. Okay, we can still stall here in this ideal target zone. We don't have to go as low, just pointing it out, and you can see where those support levels are. So here is, for example, another fantastic, of course, oh, that's the wrong line, we need it horizontally. There, fantastic other support right there at about 19,500. Okay, so we don't have to go to 12,000, just pointing it out. On a monthly RSI basis, as you can see, we're getting oversold. The month ain't done yet, but it looks like you're about here compared to 2018, which is very close to the end. That we had about 2 more months of downside, and then we were completed. If we get 2 more months to the downside, minimal downside versus what we already had, so the downside risk is getting much less compared to where we were 3, 4, 5 months ago, then we are doing pretty well. So we're this oversold, which was as oversold as there. If history repeats itself, we're getting very close to the low, which fits with the halving cycles. I've shared with you many times that I was looking for a low later this summer, early fall. The alternative is using a log scale and comparing it to credible crypto, is that we only completed major 4, major 5, cycle 4, cycle 5. Now, I prefer to not get greedy and say, all right, we're only going to get cycle 5, and then we'll reassess. This wave count is the alternate wave count, and 13,600 is the cutoff, because 4 and 1 cannot overlap. It's still a very elegant, nice little wave count. I like it. Okay, there's no problem with this one at all. We had a zigzag here, or a flat here, and this then would be a zigzag. So alternation between 2 and 4 fits very well. So this would mean that crypto or Bitcoin can go to well into the hundreds of thousands for cycle 5. Okay, so 400,000 or 500,000 eventually. This will mean we're just stall at around 100,000, 150,000. So still plenty to go either way. Okay, so that's for Bitcoin. Here is Ethereum. All right, the bearish alternative as shown here already became operable last week. No surprises. Then the ideal downside target zone was between 16,000 and 14,000. It's been reached, but we did not get a reversal from there. First and foremost, please remember, I said if we go below 1,700, we're going to go into this target zone. So that's been working out quite nicely. Then I was looking for some nice fifth wave relationships, but what we have on hand now appears to be an extended fifth wave. It looked like we had a nice possible expanding ending diagonal pattern. For those that remember, we had these green lines. It looked really nicely as overlapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This price action really takes that off the table. Anticipate, monitor, adjust. Okay, that's the price action. It looks really favorable for a diagonal. We completely breach, done. So what would then we say? Oh, I bought here at 1,400 and we're lower now. Well, of course, you place your stops accordingly. Same. I prefer to wait for a reversal with, as I've said many times before, higher highs, higher lows. Wait for a 1, 2, maybe even 3, 4, 5 setup. Okay, that type of stuff. But if you want to catch a falling knife, then you can get caught. And this is still a falling knife. As I showed you for Bitcoin, the trend is still severely down. The same is, of course, for Ethereum, if I would pull up the trend is your friend chart. Okay, so we can easily go lower and a lot lower. Also, it could target 855. It still would allow for a nice ABC relationship. Now, this is the monthly chart for Ethereum. Way back in the good old days, I was looking for a bounce to about, what is it, 4,000, 4,250, somewhere around, I think 4,250 plus or minus 250. We didn't get it. We only got to about 3,600. So the bounce disappointed. Typical hallmark of a bear market. In bear markets, upside disappoints. That then means if we have lower upside, that then also the downside extends further lower. All right, we don't get as high, then we do get further low. Now, my ideal target zone has always been 2,000 plus minus 2250, 1750. I had that already, I believe, in January of this year. So we've reached it, but that's only based on the price data available back then. That's what I mean. You anticipate, you monitor, you adjust. Lo and behold, we did get as low, and now we have more price data available. And then we say, okay, now we have to readjust our assessment because we've dropped below the target zone. Some people say, I hold you accountable for what you said here in January. Well, that's with the price data available, with all the action you have so far. You're going to look at support, resistance, all those good things. But then, of course, nothing is set in stone. We quite silly to stay rigid. You got to be flexible. That's why we monitor and we adjust. Okay, so then we get the C wave. Now the C wave can go as low as 855. This is the ideal target zone, and why I also again was looking for around 2000 between 2250 and 1750, and then a little bit lower for support here at around 1500. As you can see, loud and clear support, plus or minus 100. But that has been broken. Now for the month, it's not over yet. Okay, so this is still on a monthly basis. We are now in the ideal target zone because C waves can be a little bit shorter. They can be also ideal. The ideal is 855, but with all the support levels, that's why I was looking for the lower target zones. Once we got to below 1750, you start measuring accordingly. Remember, I'm not going to give any trading advice. I'm simply tracking and monitoring the price data. So we failed for the B wave to reach the ideal upside target. Okay, it fell short. That means then that you simply have to draw the C wave lower. I got to 1500, somewhere about there. That was fantastic support. We're now below it, so we're going to look even lower. I'm still missing a larger wave up, cycle 1, cycle 2, etc. 3, 4, 5. I prefer now to see that as the final cycle 5 wave based on Bitcoin, but we'll keep it on the chart, question mark 4, question mark 5. We haven't gotten there yet, so we'll leave them on the chart. No need to update this. Just wanted to show you that we might have to adjust slightly lower. It's fine. Moving on to Polygon or Matic. Matic is following along really nice as well. I see no reason to update my charts on this one, and that we've completed 1, 2, 3, 4, a potential now in 5 in green, and we get another set of 4 and 5 to complete. That is that one, 3, and that is that one, 4, and then we get, so we got this, all right, this and this. That's what I'm looking for. Fits all with this nice symmetry targets, nothing out of the ordinary. And yes, we're going to go to a couple of cents, okay? So there's a lot of downside left, from 44 cents to about 2 cents, 4 cents, 10 cents, but definitely a lot lower. The waves still need to fill themselves in, it appears, and I see no reason to change my tune. This all looks still really good. I like it, so this one doesn't need any further adjustment. Things are moving along quite nicely. How about Solana? Solana is moving along quite nicely as well. Remember, I had the $60 cutoff. We never got above it. We didn't even get above 50. And now we're already towards the ideal wave 5 target zone, anywhere between, I would say, 26-ish, 25-ish, and potentially as low as, I would say, $1.10. Let me put it on the map for you, a little more accurate, so you have a better idea. So here is 24.5, and there we are at about 10.5. Okay, so there is still downside potential, but that's the target zone. We haven't even reached it yet. So I want to get this target zone reached, and from there we want to see strong reversals. So nothing out of the ordinary. Here, this is the target zone for this wave 4. Then we also have retraced this entire rally that started in 2021, and then have done a nice 4th wave of a higher degree that retraces all of the 5th wave of a lower degree. Excellent. Again, there's been no upside reversal. We're right on target. This is then the target zone we are going to look for, 24.5 to 10.5. So remember, there's still severe downside risk. But I think the risk versus where we have been and where we are now is, of course, much, much less, right? We were at 250. We're now at soon 25. So we've already had a 90% haircut. But if you still buy a 10 and it goes to 1, you still get another 90% haircut. That's not what we want. So please bear with me as these final 3, 4, and 5 waves are wrapping up to complete 5 of these. So nothing going on here that is out of the ordinary. So I like it. So the only ones that did require updating for potentially lower prices are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything else is still nicely on track. Now, let me see if I can find this tweet by there, Puck Stock Market Analysis. All right. Fantastic. Got to follow it. It's about 7,000 followers. I think he should have a lot more. So this is his tweet. Let's view it in a reader if we can. The weekly chart of Bitcoin. He said has been following a predictable 4-year cycle pattern following each halving. The Bitcoin high occurs 1 year to 6 months after the halving. The next low is 1 year after the peak. And finally, the next year is 3 years high is after the low 3 years later. So here's the chart. So he is also looking, if you can kind of see it, potentially as low again as 12,000. We could stall here at around 25,000 as well. And then we get the massive rally, 1,000% gain. He's looking for potentially, I believe, 160,000 to 260,000. After the May 2021 below, I believe Bitcoin's third halving, it peaked in November 2021. Okay, so he thinks we should see something similar as a low around 26,000 to 12,800. Fits with what I'm seeing. Okay, very similar to 2014 or 2018. Which path Bitcoin is going to take, we'll have to see. But then we get a run up. The third halving was 2,000% gain. I believe the second halving was 4,000% gain, something like that, a little plus or minus. So it seems like with every halving, the percent gain gets halved as well. So we could go to 116,000 to 260,000, depending on where exactly Bitcoin is going to bottom. He looks for about 2025. For that to happen based on the previous halving cycles and how long these rallies, the booms and the bust cycles last. So I think this fits very, very nicely. Now there's another tweet from a friend of mine who uses astrology to forecast prices, timing, and highs and lows. And he's also looking for a little bit longer correction, but then again, well above 70,000 for Bitcoin. It didn't give me the upside target, but that fits with, of course, a 160 to or 120 to 260,000 target that I'm looking for as well, with 125 plus or minus 25,000. So I think the stars are still aligned. We have to sit through this unfortunate turbulent period, but nothing goes up forever. It fits with the halving cycles. Once in a while, I throw up these halving cycles that Plan B also provides, and everything is still nicely on track. So we might have to wait 2-3 more months before the true final low is in. We'll have to see how that pans out. And then we should really start looking for these phenomenally higher prices. I think it would really fit with where sentiment is and all those good things. So please bear with me. From a longer term perspective, it seems like the risk reward is, of course, skewing more and more towards the reward. It all depends on how much risk you're willing to take. But I would advise against throwing everything at it at the moment. We really want to wait for confirmation. That's always the case. All right. We have a lot of conditions, but we don't have a trigger yet. Once we get the triggers, I think it is time to ram the buy button full on, so to say, but we're just not there yet. Okay, so in summary, Avalanche is nicely on track for what I've been monitoring for what seems eternity. Lower prices, $10 to $5, even below 5 is possible. Binance coin failed to break out above 340, so it chose the bearish path. And we'll have to see where exactly these fourth and fifth waves wrap each other or finish each other, so to say. But that should be in the high hundreds. Bitcoin is definitely dropping into the ideal target zone, but based on the price action and the overshoot of these third, fourth, and fifth wave target zones based on an ideal Fibonacci, but we have to look lower. Bigger picture-wise, these lower targets then mean we have to upgrade the wave count, the preferred wave count, by 1 degree, still missing a final fifth wave. Alternatively, we do get the 4 and the fifth wave if we don't overlap with 13,600. So if we stall somewhere around 26,000 and then we start rallying, then this becomes the preferred count. Okay, if we do continue to drop lower, then this is the preferred wave count. Either way, still looks like we need more upside. Ethereum, bottomed, is initially in the ideal target zone yesterday, no reversal from it. So we have to see this as a extended fifth wave, so to say, and have to look lower. I would say the same as for Bitcoin. We can stall at any time here, but we can target as low as 855 for a simple CSA relationship of a simple zigzag ABC. The lower target zone is then because the B wave didn't reach as high as I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see 4250. We only got about 3500, so you're already off by 750 points, so to say. So if you then look at 2000, you got to subtract 750 points. Then you're already at 1250, which is where we are right now. Okay, if you do the same, then of course with 1600, etc. So far so good. You anticipate, you monitor, you adjust. Maytag Polygon is still nicely on track. I see no reason to change my view on this one at all. I think we're going to go to about 5 cents or something like that. Nothing out of the ordinary. Solana is also nicely on track. Nothing out of the ordinary here. The ideal target zone is between $10 and $24. So please be careful out there. Don't front run anything. We haven't seen any bullish breakout. We haven't seen any higher highs and higher lows. If anything else, we're simply wrapping up these smaller and smaller fourth and fifth waves. All right. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a valued premium member. I think we're getting really nice and close towards a fantastic resolution of these short-term to bigger picture charts. And we'll see what we get by Wednesday. All right. Take care, trade safe, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. And in the meantime, any questions, just email me. I'll gladly answer.